Morning guys, Mon here. Today I want to talk about a project I've been working on in the last few days. Everything started with creating rampage bases because I wanted to create the downfall of the rampage price, but I'll talk about that in another video. Here we want to talk about something else. We want to talk about divine duping. The overall strategy is fairly known and has been in discussion early in the league. And there the results were, it's a pretty decent tactic to make divines through this and split beasting or split fossils, but it is not efficient enough to justify it as a pure farming strat. And after multiple hundreds, at this point maybe thousands of interactions with the remnants and crucible stuff, I thought actually it might be efficient enough to be a single-handedly like carrying strategy to make currency. And I've been doing this with a friend over the last 2 days. We did create a lot of bases. I'll talk about this stash step later on. The first thing I did, I went into Act 5 with my magic finder and farmed a full quad stash of 1 bases. I've done that in about 50 minutes. It is very quick to farm bases in Chamber of Innocence because the pack size is very good and it is a magic finder. It's fairly fast and drops a lot of stuff. That was done without a mage blood, so it could have been a lot faster if I optimized for it. But just a normal magic finder without headhunter, without mage blood, just running through, getting the bases. About 50 minutes investment for a full quad stash of bases. Then we bought a few bases we started with and had an initial investment of about 50 divines, but we stacked up on stuff. Like, this can be done on a much smaller budget start. We just wanted to have everything running and going, and yeah. My partner in this project did then reveal all the trees and sort them in the guild stash. In this stash we used like the upper free node, here we used the lower free node, and here we're using the middle free node. Because when you combine two ones, you want to make sure that the node where the divine orb has to go has no node in, so that the odds are very high, nearly 70%. There's some stuff that can go wrong, like downgrading and mutating, and yeah, that's it. Downgrading and mutating can happen, which is fairly rare. So we have like 65 to 70% for a successful dupe. And with the character optimized for this, I changed how my blade vortexer worked a little and optimized everything around the strat on this character to like get as quickly as possible to the right spots on the right maps and to get through the forge in just a few seconds, which makes this extremely quick. And we'll just go through one full session of duping here. I do this with 6 bases on every run. So we run 6 times the forge, then we check how many bases worked. This usually lies between 3 and 5 is like the average. Sometimes we had very unlucky streaks where we just deleted like 6 or 7 bases in a row, which did hurt a lot because we had to buy new bases at some point, which can happen. So as all of these gamble strategies, it comes out as positive gamble in the end, but you can have a unlucky streak in the beginning, which is fairly annoying and can be costly. So this does not work perfectly at all times, and I've heard some stories about people breaking a lot of bases, but the odds on average are in your favor. So let's see, I just got 6 new bases. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5, we've got 1 mutate. So we've got 5 bases that worked and 1 mutation. That's a fairly good. I want to put these here because I can't use them for this project anymore because the middle node is filled now, but we can use it for the bottom node in the future. So like some proper sorting and management for the nodes is very good to have. And then you need a lot of maps you can run, because you burn through them very, very quickly. You can bulk buy them, you can just use what you have. I used about 70 Crimson Temples and like 100 cemeteries so far. Maybe. Not sure exactly, but that's about like it. What's cool about this, and what the reason is why you're farming Act 5 is that the bases just need 70k or 80k or 90k, very low values, to be fully filled. So we only need one map and don't even have to channel far to completely fill all the bases. Like on every map we can fill one base very quickly. Sometimes they preserve enough of the experience to just be ticked and they are instantly ready again. So that's why you are farming low tier bases to make this. You also get Eater or Exarch invitations in the meantime, which is fairly nice. I just can't find the forge here. What the fuck? Where is it? Which is just a nice side profit thing you do. You just have to channel to like 50. And all encounters like below 90 or 95 are very easy on average. Like there's some outliers, but usually the outcomes, like the forges are pretty easy when you're doing them on so low, like, yeah, percentage. I have a tree that is pretty good for map drops also, so while running this I drop some maps occasionally, and yeah, so we can sustain some of the maps, not nearly all of them, but yeah. That was pretty stupid. The character I'm running this with is my Blade Vortexer. This character is fairly expensive in the state, but you, like, as you see, I don't really interact with this stuff a lot, so you don't need an insanely strong character for this. You just need a fast character for this, and one that can clear Crucible decently well. Like, you could do this in low tier as well, it wouldn't really matter as much because you still get enough experience in low tier, but it is quicker in higher tier a little, and you get the Eater invitations, which is nice. You also have the chance for random Divine Altar, for example, or yeah, pretty much. I'd always go with Eater just for the chance to have a random Divine Altar in the map, which I am kind of biased in because I did get once, but yeah. Eater, I'd say when you just go in and randomly proc like one altar or two, you generally want to run Eater because Exarch is like pretty good currency if you just take all the divines on every map and hope to get like decent stuff out there, like sextants and stuff like that. But Eater, just you get the chance for something great, but you're not here to farm altars, you just take them when they are good. As you've seen here, the XP bar was filled already because sometimes the combining just takes so much experience onto the new wand that you get pretty much the full value out of it. Now we've got 5 bases and I've got split in my clipboard. This, if you don't like use other stuff you copy, persists in there until like for eternity. So I can just STRLV it in there, like STRLF to get into the into the box, and then STRLV for the split. What? I have wrong base.
The first ones are watching Survivor. Don't disappoint them. The ritual is complete.
Let's see. You generally like just do this with as many bases as needed. If you fall below 6, it's like you have to get up above 6 again. But when you do it with 6, I personally just take the bases. Now I have 10 in my inventory, so I go to the vendor and we get rid of 4 of them so that we have 6 again, and put the profit into the stash. Then we have 6 bases. We can continue with and repeat from the beginning and just go from there over and over and over. So let's take a look. We are more or less finished with the quad stash. I have some bases left here, but I'd say these end up as like about 15-20 dupes or so. Not sure, 6, 8, 16, yeah, we'll get some dupes out of this still. But we used about 1 quad stash, a little less, of bases. We currently are at 85 flat divines. We have 6, 12, 17 bases here. We preserve some for backup if we need them. So we have 17 bases here, which translates into 51 divines. So here we have about 100 divines. Then we have, this is like 1 row more or less is 1 divine. So here we got 6 divines as well. In my inventory we got 18 divines in bases. And then we've got the split beasts, which are the most expensive part. And I bought for 26 divines earlier. So this still is 17 divines. So out of this stash, we currently are at about 130, I'd say, more or less, 130 or 140 divines. Pure profit. We did already take out 55 divines we initially invested ourselves in. So this is with all investment already taken out. Everything that's in here is pure profit. And this is done over the course of a few hours. Like, I've been playing for, I think, 3 or 4 hours yesterday, and for 2.5 hours today. So overall about 7 or 8 hours from my side for about 200 divines, I'd say. Like, total about 200 divines with the stuff we've already taken out. And my partner also invested some time. He was not like absolutely blasting just for that and like being a little less efficient. So I cannot exactly tell how much time he spent, but it should be more or less equivalent, because we more or less do the same thing. So if you have a character that is very fast, you can take both parts of this and divide, like profit fully from it. We at the end split 50-50. So if this is 150 divines, we take out 75 divines. We both make 75 divines in 4, 5, 6 hours gameplay. So, and this still is not completely optimized. So you could still push the boundaries by quite a bit. The buying part was very, very chill. You just have to keep an eye on the market. I bought like, I think 80 beasts earlier from one person. This is just yellow beasts, but I've bought 80 split beasts from one person. It took like 5 minutes, and I bought 100 remnants from one person. It took 2 minutes. So the trading part is absolutely whatever the word that says, it doesn't matter. And the best part about this is, at the profit section of this, there is no trading involved whatsoever. When you're done with the shit and you say, I don't want it more, okay, you take the 6 bases, profit 18 divines, boom, done. And this is so chill. You don't have to sell anything. All you do is buying in bulk, doing the strat, and be done. No selling involved, which a lot of people don't like. However, there is like negatives to the strategy. You don't really interact with the game aside from the Crucible, because you just jump through the map, sometimes take down the boss, and yeah, it's like, and then just interact with the Crucible. You don't really go into the map, kill a lot of monsters. In the Crucible itself, you pretty much skip the entire Crucible, as you've seen earlier in the video. And yeah, enough rambling from my part. This is insanely profitable, and the only negatives I see in here is that it can be boring as shit, because you're doing the exact same procedure all day, or all the time you're doing this. Like, you don't really do anything beside that. And yeah, actually we could see, let's take a look at how many eaters I've got in the time. I think these 6 and 2 or 3 out of these is from this, so that is another like 4 or 5, I don't know, Divine's Profit. I don't keep track of the prices of these. Oh, they're actually nearly a Divine each, so yeah. I think I've talked about, like, I can't talk anymore. I think I've told enough about the strategy. If you have any questions about this strategy, about duping in general, about whatever you're interested in, if you have any questions about the entire system, feel free to ask and write it down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.